against my enemies, yeah. You see, you wanted to save you, and then learn how to raise you. But I forget you're from the wilderness.
Hello everyone, what is up? I'm Rob.
And I'm Eamon.
Well, damn Eamon, would you believe it is a little mini fuzz?
Little baby fuzz.
Little baby fuzz indeed, it is indeed. Actually, well, I remember, I actually have Monster Fuzz mugs downstairs that we're supposed to be using here. They're shite.
I like teal mugs.
No,
Why are they shite?
I got new ones printed up.
Why are they after doing us like that?
They're donkey dick.
I have Monster Fuzz ones in my ma's
They're
house.
good. The old ones
I
are
can
good.
get the old ones if you want.
they're
I have
good.
Sentient Mickey and I have Shay's Cool.
Those ones are both good.
I was going to say turtle, but it's not a turtle.
No,
It's the kappa.
it is. Hello on YouTube. Hope
All right,
you're doing
YouTube,
well.
break up.
Please like and subscribe, you know. Hit that bell notification. You know, so you get all the latest videos and shit. But for real, actually, really quickly on the YouTube side of things, thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the comments. We do pay attention. We do love them. And as well, thanks for watching all our YouTube shorts as well. They're doing quite well over there. So happy days. If you want to check out any of that stuff, guys, or highlights or clips, it's all over on there. It's all over on TikTok. Go and check it out. Also on Instagram, actually. If you'd like to support this podcast before we get into it, Patreon is the best way to help us to continue to enhance the Monster Fuzz experience.
Nice.
Yeah,
Level it up.
Well, we do need to level up.
Improve
we need to level up
the
that
materia.
yoke.
That yoke?
We need a better camera.
I've decided I'm going to look at it from now and then.
Are you?
Yeah, I've decided like I didn't like you domineering me, oppressing my artistic right to look at the camera. Every now and then I'm gonna have a look at the camera, and that's just how
We're
we
just
feel.
gonna talk to it like.
I just be
That's
like,
grand.
and then the monster said, "Boogie boogie."
And then I go to like cut in the thumbnails, you know, where they go on YouTube. Like,
Yeah, you're like, "Oh no, Muckman Monster Savage,
Bog monster
all that.
attack.
This girl never got out of the woods," and there's just a lad like,
Yeah.
it's like, "Ah, come on now, lads."
Yeah, we'll do that. So yeah.
Don't do that. Can we not ever do that?
No, we're doing that.
I'd put
That's
our
what you
faces
want.
looking
You want, if
surprised.
you want us to be YouTubers, that's what we're going to be doing.
I just said I want to talk to
Please
people
like
every
and
now and then, but I
subscribe.
don't want to be like, here's me in a beanie. Oh Lord, what happened then? What's go? Ooh, like,
Bigfoot sighting.
my Aunt Fanny. Oh no,
That whole like,
it's
you
so
know,
fucking cringy.
I come from a YouTube background, and it's like making thumbnails. I used to make thumbnails. Like I just couldn't.
No,
And
it's
look,
too much,
I don't
like-
want to be throwing shade at people that do it, but like it's tough. Like
Look, it's part
tough.
of it's part of the
It's
whole
tough.
marketing. But
It's
like,
tough.
you do see some lads, and it's just like
I gotta do that with you, just solely you,
just
for
my
everything.
head.
No, but it's like it's one of those things where it's you just feel like a twat, like, because in a lot of cases they don't even take a screen grab from the video; they actually pause for.
Oh,
a
yeah,
picture.
yeah.
And then
How many pictures do you think they have to take until they get the perfect like? Like, what's that? Is that the beauty
that's
one
Madonna.
now?
You're doing
That's
Vogue
like
there, no,
that. Is that Vogue?
Yeah, something
then-
like that.
Do that at the heart.
People are going to screenshot all that shit.
Break
later.
all these up. If you screenshot me, go around the world breaking these up.
No, but it is one of the things I find it very difficult to be.
Yeah, it's hard to take seriously. Like, because sometimes
It's tough.
sometimes like, do you ever, and again, no shade, you see somebody, you're like, I know that person. You're like, man, I wonder how many pictures it took to get like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It makes me laugh. But again, if I was making money, then I would very quickly just be like, yeah, I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's like, I'll give you €200 every time you go like that, like, there'd be a fucking wash of me on YouTube like that.
Right. Yeah, but basically, guys, long story short, we are saving up to get a camera to enhance the whole visual aspect. So if you'd like to support us in that endeavor, head on over to Patreon. You'll get a couple of things in return as well, including exclusive episodes, ad-free episodes. You also get the videos uploaded in raw form over on Patreon as well. If you don't like YouTube, you can check out the video site over there.
We don't want to go too high res on the old camera either, because my old crow's feet are coming. I'm nearly 40 now.
We're getting old.
The old crow's feet are coming in wrinkly.
Two
Old
old
puss
bitches.
bag.
It is weird that the video adds a new dynamic to where you're like, I have to actually kind of watch my mannerisms now for the next hour.
See, I'm not good at that. Like, I just do things, so I don't know.
Just automatic brain fired.
My brain's just like,
if they have any tips on YouTube, or indeed if they want to send us in their expressions, where should they send them in?
Tips or expressions?
Yeah. Tips or expressions.
These aren't the spooky stories anymore. You
Well, they can
changed
send
something
them in
here.
too.
Well, tips or expressions, is that speak for is that TikTok speak?
No, tips or expressions, or like as in like
Just send JPEGs of them.
you won't believe what this couple
If you want to send your JPEGs of you making weird faces with a scary story, monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. We have a few good scary stories today. Tips or expressions.
This tea is horrible.
I drank the Earth's greenest tea.
Audio on here getting done dirty there now today. A quick reminder now, that's Evan's fault, by the way. He's wanting to fucking be fucking.
What the fuck are tips and expressions?
We're talking about it. You just spent 20 minutes talking about
What's a tip?
A tip is.
That sounds like we're journalists out trying to get the scoop
on how to succeed on
Bigfoot
YouTube.
Really robbing
on how to succeed on
tips
YouTube.
Like tips to me is like when you're trying to catch the cartel. Like, you know, here's a tip about the IRA. Like that's what I was thinking.
No. Tips as in, listen, you know, we want to know how to succeed on YouTube, and so we need tips.
I think we just have to put up expressions. Just like
so yeah, as well, guys. Don't forget, Scotland's coming up soon. Eamon, what are the dates for that? Do you remember?
July 14th is when we're going.
Yeah.
15th, I think.
15th,
Saturday is the
potentially
15th, right?
16th, potentially
16th.
meet up, or 16th and 15th.
We'll be in Scotland on the 15th to 16th. If you want to be there, come on.
We're mucking around as well. Like, I was looking up the hike. It's a longer hike. We'll be leaving quite early in the morning. Probably you're looking at in the early AMs. Not super early, but like
7.
No, a bit later.
6,
so,
7, 8.
Yeah, something like that. So basically, you know, the idea is if anyone is stranded, and there's been a couple of people now who said like, oh, well, if the meetup is on the Saturday, you know, that would suit me better. We can meet you after the hike, basically. If that's the case where people are like, their backs are against the wall and they have to meet a certain date, we'll sort something out to where
do half the hike on Saturday, and then we'll start at the halfway point. Can we get back there without doing the hike?
Yeah.
Is there a way? Can we spend some of our budget on heli drops?
We might have to.
We might have to.
Big shouts out to our new patrons, Big Bad Sam Babbage.
Ba.
And also Andrew Morgan.
Less fun to say, but still appreciated.
Is he related to Arthur Morgan? We just don't know.
Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption.
Red Ned?
Red Ned. I'm Red Ned.
Yeah, indeed. So, funnily enough, as it happens, you know, the most feedback from a singular episode that we got was when we had a question about sodomy on one of our recent episodes, which kind of speaks volumes about our audience.
Because that was when we asked the question, Sodom or Gomorrah? Where do you want to go?
So Yasmin wrote in there, and she just had a little bit of comment about bumming there, if you want to read it.
It's pretty, yeah. She says, I can help you out with your sodomy issue. Only because I'm reading a book about medieval times at the moment. That's a good cover-up. That's a good cover-up. I know everything about sodomy only because I'm a high literature.
You won't believe what Yasmin knows about sodomy.
Sodomy wasn't anything sexual. Sodomy was anything sexual that wasn't missionary between a man and a woman to result in children. So if you put an L on the T's. See, I'm learning YouTube because I'm not saying the thing. Do you know what L on the T's?
Oh, yeah, okay, I get it, yeah.
Blow an L on those T's.
Yeah, I get
so
it.
that's sodomy.
That'd
be sodomy. What if you...
I like how that's your first
put your D...
in the A and all. That is sodomy.
That's what we would have known as sodomy. But I didn't know that blowing an L on the T's was sodomy. That's sodomy. I'm gonna next time.
You're a sodomy.
Next time I'm romantic, I'm just gonna go. This is actually sodomy.
Get out here, you sodomite.
Get out here, Austin. It was me all along. So yeah, anything sexual that is not going to result in children. You're only meant to have sex on non-religious days. So basically, no fingering on a Sunday, or you're going to hell. That's interesting to know, Yasmin. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I think as well, a big component of religion back then as well was like keeping order. And I think like that it all kind of lines up with that, right? Yeah. Going around spreading the seed with a lot of wives, and
you can't be
a lot of women
B&Ls on everyone's tees.
A lot of women coming around cracking up at you, throwing babies at you, going, mind him. And you're like, well, sure, I'm after basically everyone was Nick Cannon in pre-medieval times.
Yeah, but Nick Cannon, I thought he was like fairly Mariah Carey, or is he like going around?
Oh no, he's
around, is he? He's out in the streets.
Oh god, yeah.
Is he Nick Cannon? Nick's Cannon. Nick's Cannon is going around there.
Nick Cannon has babies with like about 10 women or something.
Fair play, Nick Cannon. No. Now he is the money. See, I could never understand the allure between the harem. I was like, why would you have so many women? Because,
I mean, obviously, if there's not the marriage aspect, you're kind of grand, right?
Oh no, not the marriage aspect. The harem. Harem is like you are married to all the. That's like the thing, isn't it? They're like all the women.
But you would imagine though, like in a society where harems are normal, right? Then
you probably don't need to give too much of a fuck about your wife. You can get away with a lot. Yeah, in a place, I think officially in a place where harems are normal, you get away with a lot with women. That's
well in Rome.
Has Western society come too far? Is that the problem?
No, we've gone full circle to where like in 20 years we're going to be riding robots and all and being going, that's fine, sure, it's a robot.
Yeah. Until the robot then
it's a robot. It's a robossy. It's all good.
Yeah. You know? I was watching a TV show today and a man got caught mid-cheat. And
MILF Manor.
He took MILF Manor. There's no cheating on MILF Manor, man. Those MILFs were salt of the earth. Right, they were salt of the earth MILFs. But he took it very he took it very just like shoulder rolled, the fact that he was inside someone else and his missus came in and was like, what the fuck? And he was like, grand no. It's just it was just like, but you're like, I mean, what's really happening?
I think I think some people just don't care, man. Like they just don't care. Like they don't value the people that they're with. Like I know people. Like I legitimately
that'll just go out and like there's
I know people like in the past, friends of mine and stuff. Well, I used to bust their balls with it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like they'd literally be like just openly cheating on their missus and be like, and I used to say to them like, but like, do you not care about what happens to them in this scenario? And they're like, no. And I'm just like, what?
Because you would kind of wonder, like, the return on investment. Like, let's say you're going out and you're just like, you know, you're doing loads of sodomy with young ones on the town or whatever.
As Sodomy Sunday.
Yeah, Sodomy Sunday. You're not looking for kids. It's sodomy. Sodomy Sunday, not looking for kids. That doesn't sound great, actually.
Well, it's next album.
Yeah, it's Monday to Saturday, I'm looking for kids. Sunday, like Sodomy Sundays. But that's it. Like, like the return on the investment is like, but the relationship and the intimacy of the relationship, like what is it you're getting out of just gleeful and wanton?
That's probably the act of it is what you're getting off on.
Surely as soon as like
that you're like,
you know, as soon as you BDL, then you're like, oh,
but you don't care. So you just go about your
just a sexual psychopath.
You go on your non-caring of business.
The top 10 sexual psychopaths. No.
No, but like seriously, you a lot of the time, like you wouldn't believe with somebody. I used to. I have experienced dating girls like this where sometimes it felt like you were trying to explain to them why they should care about fucking over. You're doing something like really degenerate, and I'm explaining that to you, but you still don't get it. So you're like, oh. So basically what I'm trying to say is if any of our listeners are in a relationship with someone where they're like trying to explain why they should care about something,
it's probably time to...
That's important to you and they don't care.
Yeah.
Then you should leave it. There's just literally no point because they won't see it. You're just going to be like, do you not see why that's a problem? No.
Oh, it makes sense. Like, it's not like you have to just to be rational and kind of sit down and like meet each other halfway and negotiate, you know, diplomacy of relationships.
No, I don't get it.
Listen, babe, I gotta nail as many as I can.
Yeah, no, they don't get it.
Jesus.
So Big Bad Tom Beeson writes in, it's either Tom Beeson or Tom Bees on.
Tom Bees
I
on.
like Tom Bees on.
Tom Bees on.
Tom Bees on this.
And on Sodomy Sundays, he bees on them.
Tom Bees on this mini fuzz.
Tom Bees on my fuzz. He's bees on a few fuzzes at this point.
So, hey lads, got a little ghost encounter for you. 10 ghost encounters that shocked us.
Just, oh no.
Top 10 ghost encounters. When I was 18, I got a part-time job in a shop whilst I was in college. The shop was situated in what was once a theatre during the early 1900s. It was a rundown building that gave off some weird vibes, but I didn't think much of it. One day, I had just got back from my break and a relative of the boss comes in and says hello. We talk for a couple of minutes, and she asks if I want to have a look around upstairs. I was excited at this prospect of not doing any work for 10 minutes, so I agreed.
So the boss says if he wants to just take this.
Yeah,
Go
cool, boss.
Don't have no look around upstairs. Interesting. Is this going to turn into a sexy sodomy story?
Turns out the relative of my boss is a self-proclaimed paranormal investigator. As she's telling me all this, I'm thinking she's a bit mental, but I go along with it. Nice. We get to a corridor where she tells me there's usually a couple of spirits that linger in the area. She begins to call out the name Sarah. She says to the spirit, "Don't worry about Tom. He's nice. He won't hurt you." And as she says this, I swear to God, you could begin to hear light, gentle footsteps come down the stairs in front of us and slowly get closer. It was bizarre. I like to think I'm a rational person and look to explain things, but to this day, I cannot find an explanation for what made that noise.
Oh my God, top 10 unexplained noises.
As we continue walking around, I begin to get what felt like a cobweb sensation over my arms and face. I've heard of this cobweb sensation. I actually heard... No, seriously. I heard a complete... I'll tell the story first and we'll get to him. She says to me, "Don't worry, that's just the spirit trying to touch me." This is what I've heard about the cobwebs. Needless to say, my bob hole was flapping. Moss is flapping.
My bum always flapping.
At this point, and I quickly made my exit. The strange occurrences only continued for the time I worked there, knocking on the cash office door despite the only 2 people in the building being in there, orchestral music coming from the warehouse that was once the theatre, and strange muffled voices that I can only describe as if talking underwater. Future the rapper kind of sounds like that. Not long before I left the job, I was in the warehouse preparing for a stock take when I began to hear very loud banging on the door near me. The door led to somewhere upstairs and had always been padlocked as long as I had worked there. Every time I tried to acknowledge the banging or tried to record it, it would stop, only to start again once I had turned away. It seemingly got louder and more aggressive as the day went on, and the boxes would be moved to where I had just walked as if trying to trip me up. I got a very strong feeling I wasn't wanted there. Needless to say, it was a strange place to work, and people always look at me a bit gone out if I ever tell them about it. Hope this wasn't too long, lads. Keep up the good work. Tom, it wasn't too long, perfect. Tom. Perfect. So, this cobweb sensation.
A spider web of emotion.
So I heard there was this guy on Southeast Radio, our local radio station here in Wexford, last week. And first off, I was like, should I get this guy on the podcast? But there was a thing that I just didn't like about him. I can't remember his name. But he claims to be able to just like know everything that's going on in the paranormal world and like speaks totally matter of fact about it.
Right, okay.
So like that first sets off like when someone comes at you like that, I'm always wary. Just like when they're like, "Oh yeah, this is how it operates. Like this is how this whole."
So he knows the physics of.
Oh, he knows it all.
He knows it all. Like
so, the cobweb is basically like a loved one. Like he was saying that this cobweb sensation is like a loved one trying to reach out to you, or basically a spirit trying to reach out to you from the other realm. What else was he saying comes from the... One thing that I just didn't like about it was like, do you know how people sometimes draw meaning from like seeing a robin on flying down in front of you, and they associate that with something or someone
who's passed and all the rest of it.
Like he had the answers for all this. You see, he was like, they can in the spirit world send those signals like that, that day in.
So the robin is kind of like a text message.
Yeah,
like hey, you up, but
spiritual
it's a robin
text message.
Yeah, spiritual text message. Right. Okay.
That's how they operate.
My granddad's some good at Nokia then, because he had no phones when he died, but every time I see a robin, I associate it with my granddad. Because it was said to me when I was 9, he was my first granddad that died, so I've always associated. No, Sausage Creed was the last. He was the second last grandparent. Because the Animus, he got trapped in the Animus in 2007.
He'd show up as some badass like Kestrel or something.
Yeah, no, my granddad, like, I didn't even cry when that granddad died because I knew he'd be ashamed of me.
And that he'd be in the Animus.
Well, he's still, I think, like, and every time I smell like a sausage. The wave of a sausage. I know my granddad is near me. Every time I smell burning pork, pig slaughter, I know my granddad is near me.
So that's what he was saying. And now he was saying, which is great. Again, it offers great comfort to people, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But what do you take from that now? Do you think?
Well, he's just speaking confidently about things that other people already say. So people say, what for whatever reason, the robin is kind of a harbinger of not sorrow, but a harbinger. Can you say a harbinger of good news? You can't you?
Yeah.
So I suppose a harbinger of like kind of, you know, a sign of some, you know, your relation or whatever. But that's been known or been taught for ages. So he's just being like, yeah, that's what it is.
No, what he's saying, yeah, that's what it is. But it's also like deliberate. So it's not like a thing where, you know, maybe there's a bit more mean to it. It's like literally that is being caused by a person in the other side.
Yeah.
So that's like, so
but
like,
then like, so how does
then well, like if you want to subscribe,
if he talks about the mechanism of that, it's like, all right, so when the person decides they're going to send a message, does a robin manifest like the fucking last scene of the Matrix where the cat comes in? Like, do you know what's the maths of that? How does it work?
This is the thing.
What's the you know, that the butterfly effect?
We're going into simulation theory and they're able to just control them.
My granddad's there flying out fucking schools.
It's like a video game. Like you just like imagine a video game. Imagine Grand Theft Auto where you can just control any bird, any person. You just teleport into it and just go, there you go. Like there I am. I'm reminding you. And I suppose maybe if you look at it actually in a simulation theory way, it actually makes a bit more sense because they can use the video game analogy where someone can actually say to you like, yeah, they jumped in. They showed you what they wanted to show you as best they could, like talking from that realm to this realm.
Yeah.
But that lad was just talking absolute 100%.
Yeah,
it
see,
was
that's
class.
like
I'm gonna start doing that now.
It would just be totally like bullheaded.
When we turn into like complete fucking shysters, like we'll just start doing that and fucking swindling people out of money. Yeah, it's
just the truth.
Talking to the spirit realm. And
maybe
all
we should like do the Patreon tier, which is like we send
give you a
blessings to your loved ones.
Yeah,
Give us €100 and we'll contact your nanny and all.
We're into
Robins. Give us €100. You'll see a robin within 7 days of giving us €100. If you see a robin without giving us €100, that's just happenstance.
But if you're coming from like, if you're saying right that you can do all this, you better bring fucking receipts. Like, it's not good enough to just be like,
anybody who says that they know what's going on is full of shit because none of us
receipts,
know.
like,
no, but what I mean is like none of us know. Even like the person who's devoted their life to Christ or has become a priest, no one knows 100% what's going on here. So when he's talking about SMS, Redbreast,
I might try and find it for you and send it back.
I would like to hear it.
It's quite good now. But like,
did he have like a funny accent or anything?
Real Wexford accent?
Was it?
Yeah.
Tell you one thing,
country Wexfordy kind of.
Right.
It was good.
Now again, no shade. Like maybe that's his experience, but I always think anyone who like tells you they know everything of a thing that no one can possibly like. What does he know that I don't know?
I'm always wary of people that deal with like
absolutes,
death and absolutes, where it's like I know what's going on over there, so like come to me.
But even if he was like, my feeling is X, then you'd kind of be like, all right, well, there's a guy who's open to changing the idea or having a conversation. But if you're like, no,
that's the way it is.
Sure, every robin's your dad. You know. So
Nicholas Namington writes in, which Namington almost sounds like a generic version of my name.
Billington, Namington.
It's like,
but Nicholas Namington has a good ring to it. Like Bobby Billington does as well. Bobby Billington sounds like a gangster.
Nicky Namington,
but you don't.
Billington.
Yeah, Nicky Namington and Bobby. You don't like to be called Bob though.
I don't care.
I thought you didn't like being called Bobby.
No.
You always said when we were younger.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you didn't like it.
A lot of things change in life.
Well, you're into it now, Bobby. Maybe it's
some people call me Bob.
Who calls you Bob? I'd break him up for you.
Calls me Bob. Yeah, no, I don't mind being called Bob.
I thought when we were kids. Well, when we were younger.
No, I don't think that was like. I don't think I ever. What was it? Boxing lads or being called Bob or something?
Yeah, I remember you went through. You went through the town with a ledger of all the lads who'd called you Bob. You just knocked on their doors and gave them a cauliflower.
I feel strongly about it.
I remember you saying to me, "You're like, I don't like being called Bob. It's just Rob." But like, this is going back 15 years, and I also could be misremembering.
Yeah, you
know?
So that happened in the spirit realm, man. And let me tell you about the spirit realm. Things over there, they're all sewn up, and it's all the dead people there. And whenever something happens that you think is a dead person, it is a dead person. And they're sending good intentions.
So is he basically like, always trust your first instinct? It's always right.
No, he was like, come to me and I'll tell you about everything. My secrets.
Yeah. And I'd say he's
You won't believe these medium secrets.
Just like a div. Right.
Go on, Nicholas Namington.
Nicholas Namington. First, let me start by saying congratulations on growing your Monster Fuzz podcast into a full monster beard. I'm glad you boys have embraced the podcast, bought houses, and now have a studio. Well done, gentlemen. That's very nice of you, Nicky. Thank you. Yeah, you'll be surprised to know we've been stagnating for about 24 months. That said, do you think there are less reports of alien abductions because anal... Sorry, sometimes I just forget what our podcast is. Yeah. That said, do you think there are less reports of alien abductions because anal is more socially accepted now than ever before? So he elaborates on this. Fantastic. In the past, if one were so inclined to put a round in their chamber, they had to pretend not to like it or perhaps claim it was against their will by, let's say, aliens. If aliens anally probed me, it wasn't my fault, and I got to share my sexual proclivity with the masses. But these days online, anyone can claim to enjoy anal and nobody even blinks. Top 10 blinkless anal stories. Ergo, no more stories of aliens probing our bungholes. Or do you think that maybe aliens have gleaned everything possible from our corn shoots and now they have moved on to explore other intergalactic buttholes?
Scott Angle, good thought.
I would have thought you'd keep it on the DL if you were into, bottom play.
It never, like, the anal probe thing really never made sense anyway, I don't think. I think it was probably founded on, like, old knowledge of the arsehole. Because if you're putting a probe up there, right, shit comes out your ass. It doesn't go in your ass. So, like, the chances of your probe getting knocked out are quite high, especially if you have, like, a Guinness shit or something.
Is it something to do? I was listening to Tim's podcast, actually. Yeah. And two people were on it, and they were, like... They were actually very like, I know what's going on with UFOs and aliens and stuff. And it was very interesting to listen to. And basically, they're saying like the aliens are human, and they're riding human women and all. And Flames. I was thinking then, that they're aliens. It's like it doesn't seem consensual, so that's probably the alien. Get out here, you aliens! But there was stuff about like I was just thinking it was more about like genetic material. So the aliens that come down. They'll do sodomy with a girl. No, sorry, they won't do sodomy. They'll do proper sex with a girl because they're trying to get her pregnant.
Missionary.
And then, missionary. Missionary, you can't make a baby from any other style of sex. It's impossible. They come back 5 months later, they take the fetus, and then it's not like when she goes to the doctor, the woman's miscarried or anything. It's like there was no evidence that there was ever a pregnancy. So they take like the afterbirth, the placenta, not the afterbirth, the placenta, because it's pre-birth. And they're, I guess, taking humans or whatever,
right? For
whatever reason. But I was figuring with the butt plug, then what they're doing with the probe is it that they're trying to get your prostate, milk your prostate, and then get a bit of genetic. No, but like that'll get the other thing,
True, no, but that's not. No, I don't think your swimmers are made in your prostate. I think the seminal fluid is in your prostate, which is like the water that the little lads chill in.
Right. Like, so would there probably, unless they have the technology that could
only, a bit of muck. It's the stuff that comes out of you when you get a vasectomy.
Lovely.
When you get neutered, like just to, you're firing blanks. No, I think. Listen, the old Ars probe is an old idea. I reckon nowadays they're probably probing it in other ways. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, right? I get it that it's out of sight, out of mind. It's hidden away on the human body, so like it kind of makes sense in a way. But
I don't know, because it's like a colonoscopy or an endoscopy, right? Like put it through here. You'd
have to imagine that any race that's as advanced to get to art and observe us wouldn't need to do that.
Is it the jackass of their interstellar culture? They're like, watch, let's see how many lads we can anally probe.
It could just be like just morbid curiosity on their part if that is what's happening. Otherwise, it could just be like, well, I don't know, because you would have to think that if they can fly here, right? If they can get here, then they can also just like scan us without even needing to.
I suppose the other side is, while the anal probe is a thing in culture that people laugh at, I don't know. I've heard like lots of alien abduction stories, but they didn't specifically reference anal probes. There's lots of things with like strange, you know, surgical utensils that are injecting them or going into the mouth or whatever. But, you know, like it alludes maybe to the fact that the orifices are getting checked.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't specifically be like...
Well, yeah, maybe the reason that they always went with the bum hole is because it's a universal hole, male and female both have it. And also there is the psychological thing from a man's perspective of like you're being penetrated against your will. So
we hate that.
So it's like one of those kind of...
Or is it like the fact that the aliens they don't have any genitals, so they don't look like they eat?
Well, we don't know.
Well, we don't know. But I mean, from what I actually know.
Yeah, you know.
I know 100%. I'm an expert. I've been on Southeast Radio talking about alien expert Eamon O'Neill. It's deadly. Just say what you want and lads, give me money. It's class. But basically, yeah, like they don't look, if you look at the little, you know, the images of the greys or whatever, they don't look like they have pissers and shitters.
No.
So then... Are they curious to see how maybe we turn food into energy and excrete what's left? So maybe they're like, what's going on with these assholes?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Or possibly it's just funny to put things in the bums of animals.
Yeah.
You know, get a reaction.
Yeah. So Tick writes in. Tick is one of the degenerates that hangs out in the Punani Zone on our Discord and writes erotic fiction. We have... We have to... There's actually one that they sent in to us that I need to read for like Patreon at some point in time. But again, we have a couple of things actually.
Tick is the one who has the bee, that's the art of the bee.
Could be. It's word, because it's word addressing. Actually, we have a couple of write-ins that are like long form stories, and I think from now on we're probably just going to try and fit them in on a Patreon or something because they are quite long. So anyway, hello, Master Fuzz Podcast. I've been hanging out on Discord and listening to old and new episodes. I have a quick spooky story related to Confederate ghosts. It's a short one, so here it goes. I live near Gettysburg, so travelling up there isn't too strange. A high school acquaintance once recounted a story that happened to her as a little girl. This would have been sometime in the 90s. She was with her family at Devil's Den, a treacherous part of the battleground. This rocky area with stones larger than people making a natural maze. She got separated from her parents and was distraught by the turn of events. This was until a friendly soldier approached her and pointed her to where her parents were. When she found her family, she wanted to thank the man, but when she turned to see him, he wasn't there. Aside from spooky stories, I'm in the business of telling sexy stories. For those who don't know, I write an erotic series starring a kobold wizard who meets and fucks all sorts of fancy creatures. Looking for material is why I stumbled upon you in the first place, actually. There you go. As I'm going through your backlog, I am already inspired to do something with Tick Balang and Teka Teka. Good Lord.
You can't write Teka Teka. She has no bottom half.
Tick Balang, on the other hand, now I'd say is packing heat.
I'd say he has some arse.
Mostly because of their names, but there's something about having big, strong horse person. Yeah. Anyway, of the cryptids you covered, what are some that you don't think are well known for being sexy that would be interesting to see in a sexy situation? Sincerely, Tick. Degenerate Tick.
Before we got into this, I wasn't aware that there was any real market for cryptids being sexy.
Not me neither.
You know, and now I'm painfully aware that there's a market.
There's like,
for
because there's those erotic books, like those books that are released as
where
well.
Bigfoot does be taken.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing too.
Yeah.
I think to answer the question, like, you don't think that they're well known for being sexy? That could be interesting to see in a sexy situation.
See, Mothman's sexy. Mothman's a great arse.
He's
great arse.
Yeah, he's caked up. He's got a good hairy chest on him, big hairy ditties.
Yeah,
he's
nice.
all good.
Come to bed eyes.
Yeah, come to bed eyes.
Chest.
I'm trying to think really what would be. I suppose like some kind of swamp monster could be fun, right? You never know what they're packing. Yeah, bog monster. One of them lads.
Would it be nice to have sex in a swamp? Because the swamp is like kind of nature's lube. You know, nature's filthy lube.
There's something horrific about a swamp.
Yeah. Because it's just decaying stuff that's
dead,
becoming watery,
dead
matter.
Full of mystery surprises when you put your feet into it.
But if you don't mind,
it's just grim. Like, yeah, the unknown There's a story my dad has of him and his friends were out. In fact, I think they were like a bit of a hike or a hill walk or something. And his friend, like they were hopping over ditches, and he jumped over one and went 2 feet into a dead fucking cow's body.
Jeez, and just like,
but like to make it worse, like the ribs kind of cut up his legs and shit.
aye.
So he had like big septic fucking
Big dead cow injuries, like that he had to get clean out.
Yeah, so that's like the bog captures that idea. Like I'm the same with swamps. Like I would be totally on edge in a swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally on edge. Like I don't like the unknown of not being able to know what the crack is in the water, the banyan trees, all of that stuff. Like all the kind of weird sort of roots that are up above the water. I think there's something horror about that for me. Like lads, all the cages on Monsieur. That for me is just no.
So is it your fears that you would see something come out of the swamp? Like
it's just you don't know what your feet are going on when you're like, you don't know what's under you at any given moment.
Okay,
and there's so many dangerous things in those places anyway.
Yeah.
Like a bog, not so bad.
Yeah, in Ireland, you're grand.
In a bog,
I would be freaked out in a swamp
Yeah.
in like the bayou,
Yeah.
and there's like
and you're wading around, say up to
Yeah.
your chest. Like I would be,
and there's
totally,
effectively dinosaurs around.
Yeah,
you.
I'd be totally on it, like on edge there. Totally. Like speaking about being on edge, Eamon, we have a story here. Gianni actually posted this in on the Discord. If you want to take it away.
A person dressed as Bigfoot lurks outside a local school, prompting a lockdown.
This is probably actually Bigfoot, though. Let's be honest.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
A school district in Lorain County went into lockdown on Wednesday when school officials said an unannounced visitor came to the campus dressed in costume. Based on videos posted on social media, the unannounced visitor appeared to be a person dressed as Bigfoot. Heavenly sighting? See the local picture inspiring hope.
Yeah, we don't.
That's
have that
not meant to be there,
No,
right?
no.
Just seeing that now. Yeah. School officials later confirmed to Fox 8 News that it was a person dressed as a menacing-looking Bigfoot. According to a Wednesday letter to parents from the Firelands local school's superintendent, the unknown person parked in a school parking lot and crossed the campus while in costume, but never entered any of the buildings.
Broke up,
Gaseous clay. During this time, some students at Fez were outside and had to move quickly inside to safety. The school day was negatively impacted, and although lockdown drills are practiced regularly, the situation caused undesirable concern and disruption. While some people may make light of the situation, the fact remains that we cannot waver from the side of safety. That's true. You can't just let your children go off with a lad because he's dressed up as Bigfoot.
No.
That's poor.
And we also can't normalise showing up to schools dressed up in monster costumes.
Although, according to the Lorain County Sheriff's Office, the person inside the costume appears to have been a parent who came to the school property as part of a prom prank.
In America, you get shot dressed up as Bigfoot, like messing
But like,
around.
you could never, like, my dad would never go to my school.
No,
like,
my dad might.
your dad might have actually.
You would know. You would never, like in America, where they have guns readily available. You do not want to show up in a full suit to a school where, like, they don't know what the fuck you're packing under your suit either. That's the
But
other
there'd
thing.
be a legit fear if you
Yeah.
dress up as Bigfoot in Curracloe Forest and run around your grand.
Yeah.
There's a legitimate possibility of getting shot if you did that in the same wood
Yeah.
area in America, you know?
Oh yeah, it's no joke.
Which I think is good. It puts discipline on people and it stops them
Keeps them in
dressing
line,
up as cryptids.
stops them messing.
Officials said the school resource officer was able to pull the person over as part of a traffic stop. Hello, sir. You appear to be dressed as the Sasquatch. Beneath the post to the school district's Facebook page regarding the lockdown, videos and pictures of the situation were shared and garnered a variety of responses. One person said, "It was hilarious," but also noted, "It is actually kind of scary when you think about it."
So that's the best form of humor.
Yeah.
You're on the line between terrifying
and hilarious. Yeah, it's like watching a Scream movie.
Yeah.
There were a lot of kids close to the windows, and not a single one of them felt it was suspicious. I don't know all the details of who it was or anything, but I hope that this teaches kids we can't be pranking schools as mythical creatures.
Of course.
Yeah, I hope that's the number one thing the kids take away from that. Another posted, "Back in the day, everyone would have just laughed at the prank. Totally different world now, unfortunately. No, yeah, child safety.
Everyone's so sensitive. You can't even
That was back
dress
in the
up and
70s where,
frighten
like, if you were a paedophile, they'd just be like, stop.
It's eyes a clown.
He's up to that old messing again, is he?
Yeah.
According to Captain Daniel Ashdown with the Lorraine County Sheriff's Office, a report will be sent to the Oberlin prosecutor for review and to determine if charges will be pressed. Now, to be fair, are you allowed to just wear a Bigfoot costume? Like
just to just walk around.
Sorry, wait, maybe I should. So let's say, are you allowed to go to the school as a parent in general to be like, I need to get my kid?
A lot of time, at least nowadays, no.
Right. Because back in the day, that was fine.
Yeah, they actually discourage it now fairly heavily, I think. I don't know. I think it's probably a school by school thing. But some schools are like, once your child comes in at 8:30, 9, that's it.
We don't, which makes sense.
It makes sense because what happens is you have fucking helicopter weirdo parents who have nothing better to do than like wait around, like, because there are parents in schools that like will wait outside the school like nearly all day, or like they'll let your child off and they'll wait for like a half an hour to make sure it gets in all right and everything's all right, and then they'll get there an hour before, 2 hours before.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. Like
an hour before if you need parking, that makes sense. If you like, I know a lot of schools over here, you need to get parking, so like turn up early, get your parking.
Or
whatever.
you have to get to work at 9, so you have to drop the kid at 8:30 to get to work. So you gotta, there's a logistics part to it. That makes perfect sense. I know we used to get to school really early, but my dad just leave us at school by ourselves at like 8:20 in the morning. Yeah, but if the school wasn't open, that's
the way it should be. Like, because I mean, like.
And I was a very attractive child, so I would have to fight off the perverts.
You
throw my sister, take her, get away from me.
It's a strange one, but to answer your question about can you just dress up? Yeah, you can.
That's the thing. That's what I was thinking. Is like, what could you actually prosecute? Like, is there a prosecutable offense? Like the Bigfoot
trespassing, maybe
trespassing, but could you get in trouble for wearing the Bigfoot costume?
No,
probably not.
Just
right?
trespassing, I'd say.
I was just doing a prank for my daughter's thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of bizarre.
It is.
I can safely say that I wouldn't have the gumption to actually dress up as a Bigfoot. Like, I wouldn't have the graw or the push to do something. Not even the bollocks. I just wouldn't be arsed. Like,
I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
You would like to dress as Bigfoot for your daughter's prom?
Not for that. But
well, that's what that man
to hoax people or something. Yeah, absolutely. Get me in a suit, Sam. 6'4" here.
You'd be a good Bigfoot, actually.
I'm 6'5", aren't I? Yes.
Hard to think that you forgot that.
It is, isn't it?
Because that's been your, like...
dementia.
Yeah, I think we're all getting it. I think dementia is going to hit a record number of people this generation. We're too addled. We don't eat well. Everything's processed. The old alcohol and the drugs have taken over.
They have.
So yeah, I think
you know what it was? I seen a picture today of Kevin Hart beside some female that's 6'4". I think she had heels on in the picture.
So she was like 6'7", 6'8", or whatever.
In my head, I was like, "Jez, would I look that big beside Kevin Hart? Fucking hell, he's some small." And so then
the 6'4"
must have been in there.
It's amazing, yeah. It's amazing how fast your baseline can be overridden.
So yeah, actually, as well, before we finish this episode today, shout out Loki Pukadov.
Some very cool stuff here.
Cool artwork. This is all monster.
The Shakira seafood linguine special.
Yeah. This is all. This was sent quite a while ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
And it was one of those things that I was like waiting to pull up. But I think I said to them at the time, look, I don't have space to put it up. So luckily nowadays we have a spot for it. We the big
bonus kaku after every bowl.
Oh, there's a lot of little Easter eggs in them. They're actually really cool. So it's nice to have them. So Eamon, we're gonna talk a little bit about, because we hear everyone talking about it, and we know that you're so interested.
I would be, yeah.
And this is for all of our listeners that you can tune out now if you aren't into it. But how about the Kendrick and Drake beef? Have you been keeping up on it?
No, I have not. I heard Kendrick was just like, I'm better than you. And then...
So that's where you are.
I've heard now, keeping in mind I'm not keeping up with this.
Right.
But I did hear a different podcast who they were surprised by how weak Kendrick's...
Well, there it is. Who was that?
I can't tell you because they'd be upset.
Tell me.
It was the Matt and Shane podcast. They were just they didn't say weak. They just said he's acting like a little girl. Like there's no reason.
That's weird. That's a weird take anyway. But if you're a hip hop fan, Eamon, as I am, lifelong hip hop fan, Kendrick fan since he's been on the scene, there's nothing weird about that at all. This let me just explain it to everyone here. This is why I did this at the end of the podcast, because we're going to lose all of our listeners by the time I'm done.
I might even stay around.
This is this has been brewing for 12 years. This beef between the two.
And what is the beef?
It's hip hop. Beef is inherent to hip hop. It's part of
what is
competition.
Right. So he's just like, I'm better than you. And then
it's always been that way. But
right.
It's the same as anything. Why do people pick teams? There's always been, this is since the start. Everyone think about it. It's always Eminem's the best at hip hop. No, it's Jay-Z. No, it's Nas. There's always a debate about who is the best MC because the spirit of hip hop is competition. There's the battle rap. It's always been traditionally about bigging yourself up as the biggest person, the biggest, most successful person. So you get to Kendrick and Drake. Kendrick comes on the scene. You know, he's one of the first rappers in a while of sort of a mainstream ilk that's actually making conscious rap. He's rapping about intelligent topics,
winning Pulitzer prizes.
He's got good wordplay, but even before he won the Pulitzer Prize, like he's shown potential to be an artist above just a rapper. He's transcending the genre, as do any great act when they come on the scene.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about, like, it sounds arsey to mention Radiohead, but like Radiohead with indie music, like they kind of broke barriers to what you would expect from a British indie band at the time.
Especially sort of into their fourth album when they just started going bizarre and managed to keep up their listenership. Yeah.
So like, so then, you know, Kendrick comes out, he's doing a lot of cool shit, everyone's getting into him, happy days. And then at the same time you have Drake. Drake comes in from Lil Wayne he's a Young Money, Cash Money product kind of. So two of them come on the scene and saying, like, Drake, in my eyes, from me, I was never a fan of Drake because he was always just rapping about the superficial shit, rapping about being all in his feelings all the time. He was rapping like kind of like, you know, a salty single white one or something after a bad night on the beer. You know, it was all like kind of moany, whingy hip hop that there was no, for me with Drake, there was never any depth to what he was saying. So he was always the numbers guy. He was the guy that would bring in way more listeners, etc. And like Kendrick was always the guy that was, I don't really care as much about numbers. Obviously it's important, but I'm doing art. I'm being an artist, right? So years ago, Kendrick put out the Control verse, was a big moment. And he was basically kind of, it was one of those kind of like little pokes at the industry going like, I'm here, like I'm the big Mickey motherfucker on the scene. If anyone wants to address it, let's address it and we'll have a bit of a beef. Like we'll go back and forth, like a bit of rapping. No one really bit at the time with the Control verse.
Right.
So there's always been this whole Drake and Kendrick thing for years now where it's like basically a team thing. Is the best analogy is, you know, it's like Man City, Man United. It's like there's two sides of it.
Was it like 50 Cent in the Game all those years ago?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Except maybe less vitriol up until this point. And then, so basically then, you know, we enter the modern day where Drake is a hugely successful artist. And Kendrick is also a hugely successful artist. But Drake probably has the numbers on Kendrick, always has done. But yeah, Kendrick put out the Like That remix, which we were talking about before, and basically said like it's not the big three, because everyone used to say Kendrick, Cole and Drake. Kendrick says not the big three, it's just me. And in my opinion he's right. I actually do believe that, because as a fan of music, no seriously, as a fan of music, it's like when people, if you're listening to fucking like indie music and you go Radiohead are my favorite band, and then someone says to you like who would be like a really shit indie band that had maybe a one-hit wonder. I'm trying to think of them. Like someone came to you and went, nah, they're the best though. And you're like, but they're not though. So it's like one of them things. So you're like, you want to, with hip hop, what you're wanting is two people coming at each other with bars to kind of see who's the best and who does the most clever shit. Right. So this has happened now. Right. So basically, you know, Drake responds. Kendrick has silence for like a week or that. And
what did Drake respond with? So he says it's
he basically dissed Kendrick. He did a full-fledged diss on Kendrick.
Well, what did he like?
He was basically saying like you're a fake gangster. Like Kendrick never proclaimed to be a gangster, but he was basically saying, you know, you're not authentic, you know, all this kind of shit. And you know, his insults at Kendrick, in my opinion, kind of missed the point. So like, yeah, whatever, grand. Kendrick was never, by the way, for record, a gangster rapper. He never has been. He's been a guy that's kind of from, say, Compton, but is not a guy who goes, I got bitches and bling and fuck all that. Like, he's not that kind of guy. He never was. So anyway, he releases Euphoria there last week, And then Euphoria was fucking fantastic. It's actually a really good tune. Then he releases another tune the next day, straight away.
Right.
And then he released 3 songs in 3 days. I think Drake might have responded with 1. But basically Kendrick is alleging that Drake and his whole crew are PDF files and have a ring operating, which is true.
Yeah, I was about to
semi-true. There's people allegedly. There's people in OVO, which is Drake's crew, that have convictions for trafficking, and then there's also all the real stuff of like Drake DMing Millie Bobby Brown
and stuff. Yeah.
Drake messaging Millie Bobby Brown. Like that interview, like I'd say Drake was watching that going, oh.
What is that where they say they're friends and she's like 15 or something?
Yeah, she's like 14. She's like,
how the fuck could you be friends?
She's like, yeah, he texts me all the time. And then like I think you're on interview and is like, oh, I'm gonna have a bit of fun with this. She's like, what does he talk to you about? And she's like, oh, we talk about boys and all this type of stuff. And you're like, oh, holy fucking shit.
The hip hop seems to be going through a bit of a PDF file thing at the moment.
Yeah,
seems to be.
Yeah, so it's like, so basically Kendrick just came out with a fucking club hit. So it's really strange to me because Kendrick hasn't bet on numbers. All of the streams he was top with Euphoria, was the #1 Billboard. It was only replaced by another one of his Drake disses.
Right.
And he just has Drake, like he really just fucked up Drake basically in every sort of angle. And
it's pretty hard to come back with a diss track when someone legit calls you a pedophile. They're like, yeah, that's you. Like, what do you say? No.
But like his response to it was quite funny, where he was like, for one, I think Kendrick called him Weinstein, not Epstein.
Right.
But Drake came back going like, I'm not Epstein. It's like, I never said you were Epstein.
I don't know.
And, but there was a few other bits in it where like he didn't really properly address. He was like, I think the way he approached it was like, if I was a PDF file, I would have been caught by now, was basically his logic. It was like, all right, okay.
I don't think that historically is accurate.
Yeah, but then anyway, today there was a shooting at Drake's house. So
laughing comes crying.
So
who is
Kendrick won? The war's over.
No, but like Kendrick
Who shot him?
Kendrick, who was there with the gun at Drake's house?
I don't know. Well, there's a whole other thing with The Weeknd. He's and his manager, and they were shot at, I think, by potentially Drake's crew a while ago. So, but Drake is an actor. This is the thing that always bugged me about Drake. Is right. If you're like, if me and you wanted to be rappers, right? I'd love to be a rapper, right? Are you and I going to come out and go, we're bloods, we shoot up fucking places, we gangbang, we do all this shit? No. Because why? We're not.
No, because we have. There's an untapped market for cryptid rapping. I think, to be fair,
but Drake is like that too. Because Drake is from Canada. Drake is a child actor. Like, he's not a gangster, but he started to pretend to be like, I'm this big hard man, fucking gangster dude. And it's like, you never.
And is that why he got a little bit of the? Because obviously everyone was saying Drake's hot and he had loads of young girl fans, and was that part of that transition over?
It could have been. I don't know. He drank the Kool-Aid. Like, there's an interview with Lil Wayne actually, and Lil Wayne kind of found him in a sense, and put him on, like, where Lil Wayne is just saying like, this is before all the beef and all. Like, Lil Wayne's like, yeah, no, I told Drake, like, stick to your Canadian shit, rap about bitches, do all that shit. Don't be getting into this gangbanger shit, because that's not you. Don't be going into the American sort of side of things. You're Canadian. And he's right, because it's like,
no, it makes sense.
If me and you got to America and we became famous rappers, like, we're not going to go like, oh, shooting fucking bitches and all.
Yeah. We'd get away with rapping about like the IRA or some shit like that, but like it'd be total bullshit. Like, we'd be better off.
But anyone in Ireland would know we're inauthentic though if we started doing that.
Totally.
So like, that was what always bugged me about Drake. I never could really get behind him, because I was like, he's trying to be this gangster when he's not, and it's fine. Like, just don't rap about that shit and just rap about other, like some Macklemore and all them. Look at Eminem. Like, Eminem, one of the best rappers of all time, never ever talked about gangbanging or anything like that. Never talked about, like, he talked about psychotic,
like, white trash, redhead.
Yeah, but he stayed in his lane, and that's, I respect that.
Matricidal fucking.
But Kendrick, to me, there was never, in my head anyway, as a huge hip hop fan, there was never any like doubt that like Kendrick would absolutely fucking destroy him lyrically. Like, and I was always waiting for that.
Well, you'd imagine he'd destroy most lads.
Oh yeah, in my opinion, he's the best rapper alive right now. Like, I mean, Eminem is still there, of course, but like in terms of relevancy for the moment, I would say it's him. And he's just, again, he's fantastic. I've seen him live twice. Great artist.
He just decided, nah, I'm the best. Like, he started.
Well, he wanted to put it on the bed, and I get that. If he's competitive and takes his craft seriously, he's like, right, I'm fucking sick of people mentioning me with these people when I feel I'm better than them. Let's go, like, let's see, and that's what happened. And so I get it at surface value, like people like yourself going like, why are they even beefing? Like, they're grown adults. It doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. But like, I'm not into the hip hop world like you, so
that is like that vocal sparring, like that's what people have wanted from those two for a long time now. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm just glad that it was a fun one. The tracks are great. I fucking love them. I fucking love the tracks. But like, Kendrick's latest album has gone back into the Billboard top 200 now as a result.
Because of that.
The two diss songs are 1 and 2 on the charts. Like, he's like, it's
and
mad.
Does Drake have where his song?
Drake's response on YouTube has more dislikes than likes, and less views than any, which to me is just mad surprising, because like Drake would have always bet Kendrick on views, like always on views and listens, like. But he's a pop rapper.
But it's because people who are into pop and
Drake has crossover.
Actually care, but they don't care about this. No. They're like, whatever, I'll buy the album.
Drake has what you call crossover, where it's
crossover
like,
appeals,
so he can blend genres, and again, it's like bands like Metallica, they have crossover because they write Nothing Else Matters, and people that don't listen to heavy metal like Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah.
That's like Drake. Like Hotline Bling, for example, was a one of the Drake ones that was quite popular in a pop sense. But yeah, he's on every fucking thing. Drake is fucking huge. Like, but no, it was good. I enjoyed the beef. Sad someone got shot, but then again, you know,
someone actually gets shot.
Oh yeah.
I thought they just shot at his house.
No, shot him. But like, they
shot Drake.
One of his bodyguards, I think it is.
Is he alive?
Yeah.
Because no one needs to die over beef.
No.
Well, except cattle.
Except cattle.
Like, you know, like, but you know what I mean? Like that's the power where it's like, I'm better rapper than you and all, and then it ends up in someone like firing.
Well, I was saying it to the lads today, like the thing is, right, if Kendrick comes out and says that you and your crew are PDF files and there's a bit of a ring going on, like, then there probably is people who are like, oh, I don't give a fuck about going and shooting these fuckers. They deserve to be shot. Do you know, that's the, and that is the danger, I suppose.
Is that an incitement?
Yeah.
Like, is Kendrick then inciting? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we need to protect the PDF files, but protect them all. But like, do you know yourself? Because you see it sometimes even with like hardcore conspiracy stuff, where, you know, you have those mass shootings and things like that, all that sort of shit. Yeah, and exactly what happened to the people kind of who were involved around the periphery of Sandy Hook. But it's kind of mad, when it turns into actual violence like that because someone
Twitter
said
fingers
something.
turn into trigger fingers. That's what that's from some beef track. I can't remember who said that, but yeah, look, it's one of them things. Drake has tried to beef with people a lot of times, and just back in the day he got Meek Mill fairly nicely. He went at Pusha T, and Pusha T fucking smoked him. Pusha T smoked him. He went at Pusha T.
But is this his like PA being like, yeah, we need to get you a bit more in front? Like, is this a marketing ploy from Drake where he like put himself in the headlines, or is he just like going out there trying to be like, I'm in class now?
No, yeah, he's one of them lads that's like super charismatic, super successful, thinks he's the best, but doesn't realize he's one of them people that, like, because he's so good, probably doesn't see his flaws in his game in terms of rapping ability.
Surrounded by a load of
so
it's
like McGregor coming back now, you know. It's like,
it's like that's going to be an early old fight for him.
Yeah, it's like that kind of thing where it's
if he does come back and he actually wins, everyone will be surprised, because I've talked about this at some guys I know who are into MMA, and they're like, there's no one he beats in the top 10.
No, if my advice to anyone, if they're watching MMA or they're even not watching it but they want to make some money, is just bet against McGregor most of the time now.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
And that like, because McGregor always has an inflated line because people like his stands
they're
going
to bet more for him.
So, so he always has an inflated line.
So the algorithm will
bet big. But yeah, no, look,
never forget the house always wins as well.
Yeah,
you know?
The latest cover of the latest diss track Kendrick put out was Drake's house on like Google Art, like Street View, and it's like the sex offender app, and it has all the heads on the like in the location, you know. So it's pretty good. But I mean,
to be fair, like, I don't know much about any of this beef. Beefing, as the men do. It is a really like insensitive thing to accuse someone of that if they're not doing it. Like it's the worst thing you can do.
Oh no, look, I mean, I'm just happy Kendrick is putting out fucking. For one, this is the most prolific the cunt has been in ages, and so to actually be getting like back-to-back Kendrick songs for me is crazy because I've been waiting for new tunes for a long time, and then also to get tunes where he's fucking rapping his arse off. Because sometimes, like, you know, rappers like Kendrick will put out a track and it's not what you wanted it to be because like Kendrick can do both. Like he can do the sort of conscious, like you sit down and think about the song,
shoegazy kind.
But then he puts out the fucking like bars, like just rapping his arse off, and you're like, oh yeah, that I kind of want that from Kendrick most of the time. So that's my thing with hip hop. Listen, you get an artist that comes along every so often and they can rap their arse off, and it's a bit more than just money, guns, and bitches. Like that's what you want. Like you want something like that in hip hop at all times. And so that's why I want that's why I thought Kendrick was so good and wanted him to succeed, is because he does rap about shit that's relevant to people, you know.
And even that's more relevant to him, or like, do you know what I mean? Like that's authentic.
And has done since he came on the scene, like he was always different and a bit more of an artist, which, happy days, you know. But now our listeners are up to fucking steam. I thought I'd talk about it because I seen motherfuckers like fucking the H3 podcast doing like Drake versus fucking Kendrick beef wrap up fucking shit, and
they don't know what they're talking
about. These motherfuckers doing wrap ups that don't even know what hip hop is. They're just clout chasing and jumping on the buzz of it. Like, so it's like if they're talking about it, I'm fucking talking about it. You're
right, too. Well, look, you're educating me because I don't know what's going on. I haven't listened to music since 1996.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
They're not. Protect your neck.
Hip hop is fun. I like the bravado and the fucking around with it and the sparring. I kind of wish that I could be a rap artist.
Just, I'm telling you, man. Maybe rap about Makele and Bembe. Makele and Bembe, I'm gonna find you Wednesday. You know, just go for it. Yeah,
we'll do songs about
we should do
Bigfoot being a PDF file.
Yeah, we'll do one like where I'll rap as the Mothman, do a diss track on whoever you want to be, and we'll just like go back and forth.
I'm just happy. I'm quite happy because like 22-year-old me, 23-year-old me is just so happy that Kendrick is smoking Drake. I just love that. I'm like, this is great. Happy days.
I'm glad for you.
I'm going back to the halcyon days. But yeah, we'll leave it there, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, you won't believe this Kendrick bar shocked face. And we'll be back on Monday. It's Thursday today. I've been Rob.
I've been Eamon.
Mini Fuzz.